Oduvijek, pa tako i danas, priroda kao cjelina života na zemlji osigurava svim svojim dijelovima sve što im je potrebno za život. Ona sadrži i velik broj rješenja za takozvane zdravstvene probleme, a ta rješenja u velikoj mjeri predstavljaju biljke. Još do prije samo 70-ak godina to je znanje bilo široko prisutno. No, tada je veliki novac počeo stvarati industriju temeljenu na bolestima i započeo propagandu kampanju širokog spektra, dio koje su bile i napori da se mnoge biljke stave izvan zakona, a ti napori danas imaju svoj zamah. Rezultat toga jest da se danas nekako smatra da je pogled na biljke kao lijek zastario, te da se kemijski i tehnološki mogu proizvesti mnogo učinkovitiji lijekovi. Sve veći broj bolesnih ljudi pokazuje da taj mit nije ispunio očekivanja, a kada jest, stvorio je nuspojave i mnoge nove probleme. No, biljke i dalje čekaju da svrnemo pažnju na njih, a mnoge debele enciklopedije ljekovitog bilja i usmena predaja čuvaju znanje o mnogim neštetnim i efikasnim načinima liječenja biljkama. Neke mehanizme možda i ne razumijemo, ali ne moramo ih niti razumjeti da bi djelovali, baš kao što možemo voziti automobil bez poznavanja mehanike motora. Zbog svega toga neminovno je da ponekad ljekovito bilje uberemo i ovdje, na rubu znanosti. Dobro večer. U listopadu 2012. u Opatiji i u Zagrebu na Filozofskom fakultetu održani su seminari o konoplji s naglaskom na njena ljekovita svojstva. Bio je to povod da se i ovdje okupimo s nekim sudionicima tih seminara, od kojih vam barem polovica danas više nisu nepoznati. Rick Simpson autor je filma Bijeg od lijeka, u kojem je opisao svoje otkrića i iskustva s uljem od konoplje, a Max Igan je australski istraživač, aktivist i autor nezavisnog dokumentarnog filma Buđenje. Dobar dan.
It's good to be back with you, Kreša.
Eto, nakon 2 godine, od kada smo predstavili ulje od konoplje u ovoj emisiji, puno je vode prošle ispod Savskog mosta. Tema seminara je upravo bila konoplja, njena ljekovita svojstva. Posjetimo se još jednom svih bitnih podataka o ulju od konoplje za one koji su se tek sad prikopčali na ovaj vlak.
Well, basically what's been happening, well, really, I mean, I started providing this medicine back in 2003 to people. But I think it was 2006, we started our website, phoenixtears.ca, and that showed everyone how to produce their own medicines, by themselves. And then we brought out Run from the Cure in 2008, and that's been viewed now by hundreds of millions worldwide. And literally over the last couple of years, this issue has just been exploding on the internet. I mean, there's so many people now coming forward with testimonials of how they cured their cancer with the soil, chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, all these horrible diseases. And it's proving, I mean, these people, if this really didn't work, these people wouldn't be coming forward like this. Now, what we have to do now is get our governments to react to our needs, because we need this medicine desperately. And it is a natural medicine. It's harmless. No one has ever died from its effects. I mean, we have to be insane not to be using this as a medication.
Opišite nam ukratko kako se radi ulje od konoplje, koliko je to kompliciran proces i koji su zapravo bitni sastojci.
Well, no, it's very simple to make. I mean, what you need is the very strong sedative indica varieties of hemp. They'll make you sleepy. Even if you smoke them, it makes you sleepy. So essentially all you're doing, if you wanted to make like a full cancer treatment, you would take about a pound or 500 grams, about a half a kilo of this starting material. You just simply put it in a bucket and take some, you need like a good solvent like benzene. And I'm not talking about gasoline. I'm talking about the benzene, the cleaning fluid you get in hardware stores. You can use benzene, 99% isopropyl alcohol, ether. There are many different solvents, but usually I use benzene, or in Canada it's called light naphtha. And all I'm doing is just dampening the material, because the bud material is covered in the resin. You can see it. Good bud, it looks like it's covered in frost. It just glistens. So what you're essentially doing is you're using a solvent to rinse those resins off the plant material, because the resins contain all the cannabinoids that do all the healing. So what I do, I simply put the buds in a bucket, dampen it with the solvent, crush the buds up, and then once you get it crushed up a bit, then put enough solvent in so it's just over the top of the bud material. I work it for about 3 to 4 minutes, then put my hand on the end of the bucket and pour it off. The oil solvent mix the solvent is like water. It's clear when you start, but it'll come out more of a golden color, because it's taking the resins off the plant. So you just pour that off, and that takes about 70 to 80% of all the available cannabinoids have just been washed off in that first wash. But then I go back and I take the bucket again with the plant material in it. I fill it with, I float the material again with the solvent just over the top of it. I work it for 3 more minutes, and then I pour that in with the first run. Mm-hmm. Pour them together. Now, you've taken off basically almost everything there is. You can do a third wash, but you would only get a very small amount of oil, and it wouldn't be high quality. Mm-hmm. But all I do then, when I have the 2 washes together, I simply filter them off through coffee filters, like we showed on our documentary, filter it off, and then you simply boil the solvent off the oil, which leaves the medicine behind. The whole process, from start to finish, usually if I have a half a kilo, in 3 hours, the medicine is sitting there ready to use. So it's a very effective medicine, and it's very easy to make. It's once you do it a couple times, you realize it's really no harder to make than a cup of coffee.
Max, možete li nas vratiti malo u povijest konoplje? Kako se na konoplju gledalo u dosta nedavnoj povijesti i kada se zapravo našla na popisu stvari koje nisu dobro došle iz pozicije zakona?
Well, hemp has been used traditionally in all sorts of aspects of our society for many, many centuries. You'll find that from the herd of the plant, the actual white material that's in the center of the stalk, you can make a substance which is very similar to concrete, but it's much lighter than concrete and much stronger than concrete. You'll find that most of Cairo was actually built from this, early Cairo. It's been traditionally used for medicines. It's been traditionally used for materials and papers right throughout history. The best quality fibres on the planet. And its use in medicine and its illegality in regards to medicine is what has caused the pharmaceutical industry to blossom the way it has. And what we actually saw was a situation in the 1940s, I believe it was, where there was a wedding basically going on between a chemical company family and a cotton manufacturer, and they wished to promote the use of cotton, and you need a lot of chemicals to grow cotton. And at the very same time, they were developing a hemp loom, a hemp harvester, to harvest hemp on a commercial scale. This was set to put the cotton industry out of business, and so that's basically why it was made illegal, because it was financially expedient to make it illegal. Had they not made hemp illegal at that time, it would have caused the collapse of the cotton industry and the collapse of the DuPont chemical industry as well, most likely. And that's basically why it was made illegal.
Dobro. Rik, koja je razlika između ulja od sjemenke od konoplje i ulja od konoplje, zato jer je upravo to ona točka gdje često puta dolazi do nesporazuma?
Well, there has been a problem there for quite some time, and I've been criticized by many people for calling the oil that I produce hemp oil. But, hemp seed oil it's simply cold-pressed hemp seed oil is what it is. And unfortunately, most of these producers, when they sell their oils, they just call it hemp oil. But if you turn the label around in the back, it says right there, cold-pressed hemp seed oil. So really, what they're doing is they're mislabeling their product. It should say hemp seed oil. What I'm doing, I'm really taking the essential oil from the hemp plant, the resins, off the hemp plant, and I'm producing, I'm refining them and filtering them, and I'm producing this wonderful essential oil. So really, they are 2 different substances. The seed oil is very beneficial. It's a wonderful food source. It's good for cardiovascular. It helps our bodies in many ways. But if you have something like a serious illness like cancer, the seed oil does not have the cannabinoids. You need the essential oil from the very best medicinal strains of the hemp plant. That gives you the cannabinoids, and that's what cures your cancer.
U kojoj mjeri je danas raširena proizvodnja ulja od konoplje u Australiji?
Are we talking about the state of medicinal hemp oil production?
Da, govorimo o baš ne ulju od sjemenke, nego ulju od biljke.
Well, medicinally, it's virtually non-existent. It's outlawed in Australia as it's outlawed in many countries. Of course, there are many people who are prepared to operate outside the law and make their own oil, which is a good thing. But as in all countries, you'll find that it is outlawed in Australia. There are people making hemp seed oil, but of course this doesn't have the medicinal properties of the oil that Mr. Simpson is talking about.
Spominjali ste izazove za različite industrije pred kojima bi se oni našli kada bi jednom konoplja imala svoju primjenu koju zaslužuje. Ne samo medicinska konoplja, već i ona koju zovemo industrijska. Kojim sve industrijama bi takva biljka mogla biti izazov po vašem mišljenju?
Well, you'd find that you can build fantastic building materials out of hemp, so you'd find it would very much threaten the timber industry. You can make very high quality plastics and celluloid products out of hemp, so that would threaten the plastics industry, which is the petroleum industry, incidentally. It would threaten the cotton industry, of course, as we also touched on, because it makes very high quality fibres and textiles. It would also threaten the timber industry again, because we can make very high quality paper out of hemp. So we've got plastics, we've got, I mean, even you can look at reports of Henry Ford, who built a car out of hemp celluloid in the 1940s, I believe it was, 1940s or 1950s. And so here we've got a steel industry and car manufacturing industries that would be threatened by it as well. So you've got a lot of very, very profitable industries that would suffer a great loss in profits were hemp to be legalised. And that is a huge reason why it remains illegal.
Danas se zna da su upravo kako se kaže, kanaboidi, ono što čini biljku ljekovitom. Koliko je do danas prepoznato tih sastojaka u ljekovitoj inačici konopljinog ulja?
Well, the cannabinoids, I mean, we need a great deal more research into this subject. For years it was stated that they thought that there was about 60 cannabinoid compounds within this plant. And then the number went up to 61 and then 65. But the last number that I actually heard from a researcher was that they had specifically identified 108 different cannabinoids, and they think there's still more. So we need to do the research, because I think, there's cannabinoids out there that haven't even been named yet that are having wonderful medicinal effects, because these cannabinoids all work in conjunction with each other, to produce these wonderful healing effects. So I think we need a great deal more research, and it has to be done in an open manner so the public know the truth. This is the problem in the past. Everything has always been hidden. The drug companies say this is the research that they came up with. Well, we all know that these studies were funded by them, and they found they had the studies come out the way they wanted them to come out. That's not real research. We need the truth.
Hvala. Eto. Popričamo još malo o nekim temeljnim pojmovima koji ponekad stvaraju zabunu, pogotovo kod starijih ljudi. Znači, kada govorimo o konoplji, imamo ono što zovemo industrijska konoplja, koja također ima određene probleme zakonske po pitanju sađenja, makar ona je uglavnom se dosta uzgajala kod nas. Jugoslavija je bila 5. izvoznik u svijetu konoplje prije 30 godina i slično. Stalno se kod ove druge konoplje koja je zakonski zabranjena uvijek se naglašava taj problem THC. Što je taj THC i što je toliko skrivio?
Well, there's literally nothing wrong with it. THC is tetrahydrocannabinol, is what it is. And it's just one of the many cannabinoids that this plant contains. But it is the psychoactive cannabinoid. It's the cannabinoid that makes people what they call high. And that's the argument that our governments always, supply us with. It's a psychoactive danger that this presents. Well, that's nonsense, because the most psychoactive substance on the planet is the caffeine in your coffee. People drive their cars every day with caffeine. They're not running into each other. And hemp is very similar. I mean, it doesn't affect, once you're used to this substance, it doesn't affect your motor skills. There's no danger involved with using this medication once you're used to it. And in the beginning, when people start the treatment, I tell them, look, like for the first 3 weeks, you're basically going to sleep anyway. But I suggest that they don't drive their cars in the beginning until they get the feel. Once they build up a tolerance and get the feel of the medicine, they can drive their cars. And usually within a month from the time they start taking it, Most of them can return to work and other people don't even know they're taking it.
Status konoplje danas u svijetu u velikoj mjeri potiče od jedne novinske kampanje iz 30. godina 20. stoljeća. Čini se da je to bilo vrijeme kada je ona postala na neki način obilježena kao negativna biljka. Možete li nam ponešto reći o tom vremenu? Kako je kampanja tekla, koje su bile njene temeljne misli, koje staju iza nje?
What we saw in America especially was a vilification of the hemp plant. They used the Mexican colloquialism marijuana to label it the demon weed. They produced movies such as Reefer Madness, which suggested that if you have one smoke of this plant, you will turn into a drug-crazed sex maniac and want to go and rape your neighbours. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal, the amount of propaganda that they used to vilify the use of this plant, simply to support the economic model, simply to support the main industries that would have been suffered severe damage if this plant had been legal. It was absolutely amazing how it was directed. The FBI had a major part in directing the campaign, actually, because after Prohibition in America, the FBI didn't really have much of a job to do. And so if making marijuana illegal, making hemp illegal, gave the FBI something to occupy their time as well. That was basically the beginning of the drug war. And the drug war is one of the most profitable businesses that America is running today. It really is, and it doesn't have anything to do with protecting the people or eliminating the drug trade. It actually runs the drug trade itself, the drug war. I mean, I believe that most of the problems that we see in our Western societies that have anything to do with drugs, unfortunately, I believe most of these problems come from our governments anyway. Most of them come from the war on drugs. So I think it's all been very much contrived.
Hvala. Eto, jedna od namirnica kojima se ne može pripisati dobar učinak na ljudski organizam, pogotovo u slučaju dugo konzumiranja, jest bijeli šećer. No, u ovoj emisiji u kojoj pričamo o mnogim ljekovitim biljkama koje su s ove ili s one strane zakona ili ponekad na samom rubu, priroda se također pokazala kao dobar inovator.
Biljka stevija prirodni je zaslađivač, te za razliku od šećera ne izaziva karijes. Dobar je izbor za ljude s povišenim tlakom i prekomjernom težinom, kao i za one koji izbjegavaju rafinirani šećer u prehrani.
Međutim, potkraj 1980-ih Američki ured za hranu i lijekove iznenada je pokrenuo inicijativu koja je naposljetku zabranila uporabu stevije kao zaslađivača. 10 godina poslije Znanstveni odbor za hranu Europske komisije slijedi uredbe Američkog ureda i također zabranjuje steviju. Naveden je zaključak da ne postoje zadovoljavajući podaci koji podupiru sigurnu uporabu tog proizvoda. Poslije analize svih okolnosti, istraživači i travari zaključili su da ti zakoni nisu znanstveno utemeljeni, već da vjerojatno predstavljaju ustupke industriji umjetnih zaslađivača. Pojava stevije kao prirodnog alternativnog proizvoda ugrozila je interese mnogih proizvođača. Budući da se biljka ne može patentirati, zbog čega je jeftina i dostupna, ugroženim proizvođačima odgovarala je zakonska zabrana Američkog ureda. U Japanu, naprotiv, proizvodi stevije čine oko 50% tržišta zaslađivača. Nakon skandala s umjetnim zaslađivačima, saharinom i ciklamatima, japanska je vlada 1970-ih podržala uvoz i uzgoj stevije. U nekim zemljama ta se biljka smije uzgajati, ali se ne smije prodavati kao zaslađivač. Aktivisti nastoje tu situaciju promijeniti u Hrvatskoj, ističući mnogobrojne dobrobiti biljke.
Ljudi su relativno malo čuli za steviju. Ima ih koji znaju već godinama, ali to je jako mali broj ljudi. Ljudi su zadovoljni, ljudi su oduševljeni i kao i ja na početku nisam mogao vjerovati da postoji biljka koja ima takvu ulogu, koja je tih karakteristika, da je to prešućivano, da je to zabranjivano bilo, da je ona je bila zabranjena do 11. mjesta prošle godine u Europi, tako i u Hrvatskoj. Znači, onda se to u Europskoj uniji odobrilo. Znači, oformili smo klaster stevija, hrvatska stevija, koji je sad u nastanku. 5-6 proizvođača iz Hrvatske tu stoji i gradi temelje za budućnost, za posao sa stevijom, za steviju u svakom kućanstvu, za steviju općenito u široj primjeni.
Podrijetlo stevije potiče iz Paraguaja, gdje se više od 1500 godina koristi kao zaslađivač ljekovitih pripravaka, napitaka i čajeva.
Znači, stevija osim što je zaslađivač, ima znači 8 slatkih glikozida, ima puno vitamina, minerala, ima znači svojstva, snižava šećer u krvi, snižava krvni tlak, ima antibakterijsko, antimikrobno djelovanje, djeluje na kožu povoljno, na probavni trakt, na urinarne procese, na općenito naše zdravlje. Iskoristiva je cijela biljka, od lista koji se koristi za zaslađivač. Stabljika te biljke je odlična za tretirati kožu, recimo peeling, za sirovina za peeling, hrana za životinje, ima znači antibakterijsko djelovanje, u hranu se dodaje životinjama. Zanimljivo je, termostabilna je do 220-230 stupnjeva, tako da je za kuhanje, pečenje u kuhinji, znači u hrani je jako poželjna. Sama biljka zelena stevija je 30 do 40 puta slađa od šećera. Za razliku od bijele stevije, kako je nazivamo, to je znači naziv koji koristimo, to je zaslađivač umjetni dobiven, izoliralo se samo slatki glikozid 1, koji se dodao sa punilima, pridružilo im se još nekih spojeva, pojačivača okusa, još nekih umjetnih sladila, da bi dobili taj produkt bijela stevija, koji u stvari nije stevija, to je ona osnovna razlika, i ima samo isključivo naglašeno svojstvo zaslađivača.
Stevija je višegodišnja biljka i njezin životni vijek traje oko 5 godina. Ne može opstati na niskim temperaturama, pa je tijekom zime treba premjestiti u toplo spremište. Grmolika je biljka. Sadi se u proljeće, a u kasnu jesen prije cvatnje beru se listovi i suše na suncu nekoliko dana.
Najvažnije, ljudi pitaju šta sada sa tim prahom, jer mi nakon što se biljka ubere, lišće se odvoji od grana, posuši se i samelje se u prah, zato što je prah najbolje se iskoriste svi spojevi iz te biljke kad je sitno samljevena. Dobije se ekstrakt tekući na vodenoj bazi i koristi ga se po želji. I taj dio, tu priču smo htjeli prikazati kroz kratke video isječke da se približi ta primjena. Treba proći na vrućoj vodi bar pola sata, 15 minuta, ili na hladnoj kao maceracija 24 sata. I tad ona ispusti sve što ima u sebi da bi ju iskoristili maksimalno.
Vrik, prije 2 godine našli ste u Hrvatskoj, zapravo sticam okolnosti, otputovali ste u Nizozemsku po neku nagradu i niste se mogli vratiti u Kanadu, odnosno mogli ste, ali bili ste izloženi nekakvim tužbama i eto nas sad nakon 2,5 godine postali se pravi globetrotter. Što se u međuvremenu zadnjih 2,5 godine zbivalo sa vama? Gdje ste bili? Što ste radili? Jeste li se konačno vratili u Kanadu? Ako jeste, zašto ste opet ovdje?
Well, I can go back to Canada anytime I want now. I was just home this summer for 6 weeks. The charges, they were trying to frame me is what they were trying to do, to keep a lid on this subject. You know, they wanted me to stay away. But what they did, they withdrew the charges, so I'm free to return to Canada. But since 2009, when I was left in Europe, in Amsterdam, I've been in, I think, 18 or 19 different countries, many right here, and I've been to Croatia. This is the 4th time now I've been to Croatia, and I just love it here. I think it's a great country. I'm very disappointed to hear that it's joined the EU. It's like, to me, that's like everybody getting on board the Titanic, but that's what governments do. But no, I've spent some time in Central America. I was there for about 7 months. I've got to see a great deal of the world, and it's been a real education. But unfortunately, I couldn't see, and I didn't travel like an ordinary tourist because I just didn't have the money. Mm-hmm. So it was a pretty rough journey, but it's been a journey worth taking.
Koje su to bile tužbe s kojima ste se suočili kad ste napustili Kanadu prije 2,5 godine?
Well, what they did, they raided my home a week after I had left for the Cannabis Cup. See, I was made Freedom Fighter of the Year in 2009. But the day before I received that award, or that honor, I received word from Canada that the police had come in and raided me. Well, what they did, there was no hemp in my house. There was no restricted weapons or anything. All that was in my home was a pellet gun when I left. But they came in, and then I heard that they had found 70 pounds of hemp in my home, and they found restricted weapons and booby traps, which is nonsense. A pellet gun is not a restricted weapon, but what had happened on the day of the raid, my son come down, and he was shocked when he seen the house was being raided. And he asked the police, where's your search warrant? They didn't provide him with one. And then they tried to say like he had his crossbow down there a few times shooting it while I was away. And then they tried to say that his crossbow and my pellet gun were restricted weapons, which is nonsense. And then the day I departed for Europe, there was still a couple garbage bags left on the deck, so we had driven nails, in a couple boards to keep the bears and other animals out of it. So when the police raided, they seen the nails, and that was booby traps, designed to harm them. And what they did, the 70 pounds that they said they found in my home was not found in my home. When I'm done washing the plant material, I just take it out in the backyard on the hillside, and I throw it out as compost. And there's literally, in my backyard, there's hundreds and hundreds of pounds, if not thousands of pounds, of him, laying there as compost. So they went out and they dug up 70 pounds of this compost and carted it away in garbage bags, and that was their evidence. So I was guilty of having compost.
Ali na kraju su te tužbe odbačene, očito, i sve se završilo.
Well, the charges were so ridiculous, they had to withdraw them, I think. They couldn't make any of it stand up in court. I mean, what they tried to do was they tried to discredit me to the public. If we can, the news media is working with the government, of course, and if they could convince the public that I was Dr. Evil and I presented a danger, and by saying he has restricted weapons and, booby traps, that sends a message that I'm a dangerous person. Well, the RCMP had raided my home 4 times. Never have they found firearms. They've never found any booby traps. None of it has ever happened. So, I mean, the whole thing was a farce.
Danas postoje neke države u svijetu koje čini se teže prema proizvodnji medicinskog kanabisa, tako ga zovu. U Kaliforniji, u Nizozemskoj i drugdje. Imate li kakvih spoznaja da su se ukrenuli u smjeru ulja od konoplje?
I don't have any news that they're looking at hemp oil. I think Rick is the only one that seems to be championing this product. They're producing medical hemp for things such as glaucoma, people with eye problems, people with asthma problems, but I haven't seen anything, and I don't know of any state anywhere in the world that is actually using the hemp oil to treat serious illness.
A taj medicinski kanabis u tim zemljama dostiže već neke značajne postotke korištenja kod ljudi.
Well, in certain states like California, where there's a certain awareness, you'll find a high percentage of Californians use it, but only, again, for specific complaints. And they're not using the whole spectrum of the healing properties of the plant because they're only using it for specific complaints such as glaucoma or asthma. They're not using it for skin complaints, they're not using it for cancers because they're not using the essential oils. They're just using the bud. There's people that are juicing it and saying that that's very therapeutic as well. But, of course, there's all sorts of myriads of problems with actually juicing it because hemp actually extracts a lot of toxins from the soil. Hemp is a plant that will improve the soil that it grows in, and it does that by extracting toxins from the soil into the plant. So you'll find that if you're juicing the plant, you may well be ingesting a lot of these toxins. So there's different ways that people are using it medicinally, and a reasonable percentage of the population is at least experimenting with different ways of doing it. But there's very few people that are using the oil because in most states you'll find that even creating the oil, they call it a class 1 drug. And you can be like in Australia, for example, if you're caught making hemp oil, the essential oil that Rick's talking about, it's the same as being caught with an ounce of heroin or something. There's no difference, which is completely absurd. But that's the way it's being viewed, as a class 1 drug in most countries. And so it's very difficult for people to use it and make it, and it's also very difficult for even the industries that are promoting the use of medicinal cannabis to use the oil because of the legislation that's in place that's preventing the manufacture of this oil.
U redu, hvala. Potrošimo ovih zadnjih par minuta opet na učinke ljekovite ulja od konoplje, znači esencijalnog ulja od biljke konoplje. Prema vašem iskustvu, sad već 10-godišnjem i čak i više, ono što ste svojim očima vidjeli, dakle iskustva ljudi koja se u ovim krajevima svijeta tek počinju sticati, gdje se konoplja i u kojem roku pokazala uspješnom, kako po pitanju bolesti koje ste vi imali, tako po pitanju nekih drugih ljudi?
Well, basically, this is a medicine that can be used for all medical problems. Unfortunately, the world in which we live is poisoned. You know, we are being poisoned by our surroundings, you know, in Fukushima and all of these other horrible things that are happening. But when you take the oil, it keeps your body in a constant state of detoxification. You're always detoxing because it brings you back to a healthy weight. And any toxins poisons that you're taking into your body, you know, it detoxes your body. It's the same effect when you see people smoking pot. You know, I used to think my friends were hurting themselves because you see they're coughing. You know, well, that's in my perception at that time was that they were harming themselves. But they weren't harming themselves. It was just the toxins that had built up in their lungs from cigarettes and just breathing the air that we breathe today. It's an expectorant. It makes you cough all of this up, which is good for you. You know, so to me, like I said, it's the ultimate medicine just due to the safety of this medication. And it's safe for all age groups, you know, and if we would simply use this medicine properly as a preventative medication, and give it to our children, and that way we could prevent them from ever getting cancer or diabetes or, you know, MS. All of these, so many of these horrible diseases could be prevented if we would just start using common sense and use this medicine.
Hvala Rigdu nekog sljedećeg dolaska u Hrvatsku. Hvala i Maksu na njihovoj posjeti Hrvatskoj, a i ovom studiju, jer doista imali ičega doista neočekivanog u spoznaji da je priroda nešto malo starija od ljudi, nešto malo cjelovitija, nešto malo mudrija, nešto malo dobronamjernija, pa se tako i pobrinula da se posvuda oko nas nalazi divovska biljna apoteka koju smo pomalo zaboravili prepoznavati i snalaziti se u njoj, ali svo znanje i dalje prisutno među nama, potrebno ga je tek malo obnoviti. A biljke kao i uvijek strpljivo čekaju. Mogu pričekati i do sutra jer vrijeme je za čarobne riječi. Laku noć.